Good morning, everyone. Happy Wednesday. My name is Kathy. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. Today is going to be a day where I'll take you along for a day in my life as a pediatric registered dietitian. In case you're new here, I work with the pediatric population. I work in an outpatient setting. I cover clinics. I have some independent clinics, things like that, and I'll explain it throughout the video in case you're new here. I was trying to make a few days in my life last week and things didn't really work out, and I'd record like the beginning of it, but I would forget to record like the rest of the day or the rest of the week, so I didn't really have much to work with. So I'm like, you know what, let's just start off small. Let's do a day in my life. Today is pretty busy anyway, so I'm excited. Today I have diabetes clinic and I am part of the endocrinology department, so we do cover those. In these clinics, or in this clinic that I have today, I am covering 2 providers. They will see a mix of like type 1, type 2, pre-diabetes, things like that. We, as in dietitians, we see our patients at least every year per like the American Diabetes Association. Like we try our best to like fulfill that. So in these outpatient settings where a patient and their family are coming in to see their doctor, they will also see their care team as well. So for example, when our patients come in, they'll see a certified diabetes educator or a nurse first, then they will see their endocrinologist, and then depending on what their needs are, if they're due for nutrition, I will go see them. If they need social work, they'll see them. If they need referrals like elsewhere, like psychology, things like that will also take place in those visits, which is really cool. And each patient, we will discuss them and come up with like the best care plan for them. So like for nutrition, at least, like if it's pre-diabetes, for example, like we're really trying to get ahead of things, slow down the progression to type 2 diabetes and go with that. So we're reviewing things like healthy eating and exercise, but like really tailoring it to them, whether it be like their needs, their like background, their income, their race, their ethnicity, like everything, all the social determinants of health. We like try our best to like address them so that we can best fit their needs, so that we have actual realistic outcomes. And I tell this to my patients all the time, like I can tell you, oh yeah, let's eat more fruit, let's eat more vegetables, let's eat 2 fruits, let's eat 2 fruits on Monday and Wednesday, like really getting into like the SMART goal format. That's not something that fits into their lifestyle as a family as a whole, like then that's not something that will probably work. So getting to know them is like really important, at least for me, where if they're in any clubs and they're in any activities, if they are in sports, things like that, like those are all drivers on like what types of foods are available to them. If they're like always in the car on the road going to the next event, like that's something that we need to think about. Or if maybe they're kind of like staying home and like get home after school and kind of stay there the rest of the day and have no other activities, then we also want to like address that. Like everyone is so different and there's no like one size fits all in nutrition, and I'm sure for many other specialties. That's what we'll do for like this clinic. For type 1 diabetes, we'll follow up with like carb counting, we'll help like re-educate if needed. We will go over like challenging experiences that they may have had, like when they eat out, or when they went out to a party, or they're not sure how to find like the carb counts for things when there is no nutrition label, things like that. Also, when a family is not ready to carb count, like we as dietitians, like we'll get like a very typical day of what they eat, like a dietary food recall. I wish we would do like 3-day food logs, but again, in clinic, things are kind of like going like super quick, so you're getting what you're getting during the visit. So we get like a typical day for them, and then we do the carb counting, and then we give the carb amounts to the team, and then the team will figure out how to do like a fixed dosing, so that when the patient is like having like breakfast, they'll know like, oh, like I'll give like 3 units because they usually eat these items and these portion sizes, things like that, and that helps them control their blood sugars better without all of the carb counting at this time. But we always want to encourage like carb counting as best as we can. So we will check in with families more than like once per year if needed. So yeah, that's like, we try our best to get our patients in a good place so that their blood sugars are well controlled, that we're in range, things like that. Then for type 2, we're looking at things like medications, we're looking at things like healthy eating, exercise, things like that. But some big ones that are pretty common are like metformin. In the pediatric population, not all the GLP ones are going to work for everyone, and then there are just so many considerations with them. But something that I've noticed, and kind of something that I keep an eye on when I'm working with pediatric patients with type 2, is how fast the progression is for type 2 in childhood in comparison to adults. And then another thing that I focus on is that medications are not readily like available for the pediatric population. Like there's not the same level of treatment for the pediatric population than there is for adults. So we want to be extremely mindful of like healthy eating and exercise, again, very tailored to the patient and family. That's all I can think of for right now. So yeah, that's just like a general overview of like what generally we do for each type: pre-diabetes, type 1, type 2, in a nutshell. I'm sure I forgot some details since I didn't have anything written down. But if you have any questions, like, just let me know in the comments, and I'm happy to like answer and discuss. If there's anything that maybe you do or talk about, like, that would be amazing, because I'm always open to learning like new practices to like better help patients and families. That's what I have going on for clinic today. Again, it's like a mix. There's 2 providers. Do I have any meetings today? Oh, I have a lunch and learn today. Yay! That's gonna be great. Oh my god, and I brought so much food. I was gonna show like what I brought for lunch. Well, I may or may not eat what I brought today because of what I'm going to get. So yeah, I'll take you along as much as I can. Usually I don't get a lot of like footage because I want to respect everyone's privacy. I'll probably get like little random clips, so please enjoy. Just in case I don't see you or talk to you throughout the day, I'll see you after work, and then we can kind of debrief together. Alrighty, so I got what I could get at work. I'm sorry it was not enough. It was pretty busy today too, so it would have been a little hard. Today, as I mentioned, was clinic. I think I saw mostly like pre-diabetes, or like a patient who historically had like pre-diabetes, but now it's just obesity. So it was a lot about like healthy eating, exercise. But today was experiences a lot of like emotional eating, like out of boredom or like anxiety, things like that. Making like small goals was really important for them. So having something to help them feel like a little bit more motivated by kind of making these small changes and experiencing that feeling of accomplishment to kind of like continue on with those like small changes, and always kind of like addressing mental health as a whole. So kind of just making sure that they're connected with psych if needed. For this family, another thing that we focused on was even just practicing these like small habits, just even for like anything, like adding some kind of fruit, some kind of vegetable, some kind of whole grain to what they're usually eating, just so that they can pair it with something that they're used to while they're trying to start a new habit. And then they come in to see us like about like every 3 to 4 months or so. So I'd be able to check in with them again. But even just like having those like small starts could be helpful, especially when the patient is kind of like more independent. So like adolescent age, they're making these changes on their own, you know. Another one, medications like appetite suppress, like where they're experiencing like suppressed appetite. That's another thing as well, where maybe earlier in the day they're not too hungry, and then at the end of the night they are ravenous once the medication wears off, and then binge eating happens and all those things. So again, each family is different and each intervention is different. For them, medications I feel like sometimes kind of knock off like cues, so mindful eating could be especially hard. So something that we focused on was like trying to create, not like super strict or anything like that, but trying to create some kind of like regular routine of like a meal or a snack, so that they kind of like expect it around that time, and the body is being nourished throughout the day rather than kind of like at the end of the night. So that was something that we worked on. And then another one was just kind of like a check-in. Their nutrition is great. Like they've made so many changes in the last few months, like out of the pre-diabetes range, which is really exciting. So we really focused on exercise this time. So it's really nice when we have follow-up appointments like pretty regularly, because then you get to see like their progress or what they're having challenges with, so that I can address it with them. And I always ask them, like, is there anything that you want to review with me, something that you can think of in the last few months that maybe you needed my assistance, something like that. And then we always address that as well. And then we had a lunch and learn today, so I brought a whole bunch of food because I forgot that we had a lunch and learn. So I have dinner ready. And then let's see, I was working on closing some older notes. So I was also working on some handouts for nutrition and endocrinology, specifically for like a food pantry and exercise and type 1 diabetes. The handouts include recipes for the food pantry, like using the staples that are in the bag. And then the exercise in type 1, I feel like those questions that come up pretty often. Like how many carbs should I have, like what time should I have them, like things like that. What should I be doing during exercise? I found a helpful table in the pediatric nutrition book. It's like the 9th edition, and I thought it was great, so I'm using that to like help create a source at my institution so that more families can have it. I've used it a few times and it's been really helpful, so I'm like, we need a handout on this. What else? Just like some addressing like other patients, like there's messages that come in, emails that come in. It was a pretty busy day. That was kind of it. I closed my notes. I try my best to close notes like on the same day. I'll do as many as I can. Sometimes we just see a lot of patients, and I may like write too much detail, so maybe I need to improve that. But I try my best to like know my patient as much as I can, so that every time they come in, I know what we talked about, I know who they are, I know their background. So yeah, it may take me a little longer than usual, but like I said, it doesn't always happen. And I had some time this morning to close some older notes, so that helped me catch up a little bit. I got out, and then I went to stop by at PetSmart really quick just to get Callie some food. We started doing like the Chewy subscription, and we've been really liking it. It's just that we ordered the wrong food, and we don't want to do like a whole other shipment to correct the food, you know. So we're going to donate the food that we got, and then I just picked some up at PetSmart really quick. And then let's see, I have a meeting tonight. It's a board of directors meeting for one of the organizations that I'm in for nutrition and dietetics. So I'm also preparing for that. I kind of want to run a little bit or some kind of movement. I did eat some yoga this morning, like a 10-minute video this morning. I don't know, I kind of want like a run. I try to run like every other day or every 2 days, something like that. Just something like light and easy, nothing crazy. But as I mentioned in my last video, I'm preparing my body for training in the next year for the half marathon. So I asked all my friends who are runners and they've given me so much advice with like how to run in the cold, like how to prepare for a half marathon, when to start training, what to do in training, different kinds of runs, all those things. So I feel like I've got a better handle of things. I feel like when I did cross country and track and like running like a few years ago, I didn't really know like the terminology or like I don't know, I didn't know that there was like a whole process to it, but now I'm getting more familiar. I'm not an expert at all, but I'm getting more familiar with it, and it's been really exciting and fun to kind of like mix it up and prepare for the half marathon. Another update, I feel like I always kind of want to like give updates like when I make videos because I think it's fun. I finished Detained from the last video that I posted. It was beautiful. I highly recommend that book. Like, it was heartbreaking, heart-wrenching. I cried like a million times, especially at the end, especially at the author's note. I hope he is doing well. I hope his family is doing well, like his whole family is doing well. Like, it was a journey. He explained his journey from Honduras to the United States and being in the detention centers in Texas, and how he made it to like Nashville and all those things. And it is a very heartbreaking story, but also very inspirational. And then I finished like the Night Spirits, the House Spirits or something. That was scary. It was good. That lives in my head rent free because I'm a little scared. I thought that it went like so fast because I was reading it on the Kindle, and I learned that if I read on the Kindle, like I am just like zooming through the book. But at least for this book, maybe because I was scared, I didn't go through it as fast, and it wasn't like my cup of tea. I was just exploring it, so I thought it was okay. And then I'm still reading the Hacienda. I'm like 40% done or something. Again, kind of like not my cup of tea, but it's something that I wanted to explore, like the spooky vibes and stuff for October. But now we're already in November, so I'm kind of like dragging that on. When I finished the other 2 books, I was like, okay, like I'm gonna read like 5 more books by the end of the year, and it's not really like working out like that, but it's okay. What I'm currently reading right now, like I mentioned, is the Hacienda, but then I'm also reading My Train Leaves at 3 by Natalie Guerrero. I'm not reading it, I'm listening to it like on an audiobook. And it's been good so far. I think I'm only like 4 or 5% in or something. I literally just started it, and I'm enjoying it so far. I like when the narrators are so like relatable, and she's saying like Spanish phrases. She's Dominican, she's in New York City. Like, I love it. Like, I feel like so integrated into it. Yeah, those are all my updates. I'll see you in a bit. Hello everyone. I don't have the best lighting in here, which sucks, but I just quickly changed. I'm about to eat my dinner. This is what it looks like. It's sweet potato, Brussels sprouts, and then some chicken sausage, and then on the side in another container. This was actually supposed to be my lunch, but then we had a lunch and learn, so now it's my dinner. And then like this mango Trader Joe's salad kit thing. So this is it. This is dinner. I have 5 minutes before the meeting starts. Just kind of everyone updating what's going on with the organization. I got into like my running clothes to see if I could just run straight after.